Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi everyone, welcome to Not Ordinary Cookie podcast. So today we have Shazrina Sabri. She's from Kind Mind Psychology, am I right?
That's right.
Yeah, so we actually have been friends since college, and I've always sort of admired how passionate she was in working with the community. I think you've had experience working with UNHCR as well.
UNHCR, yes. Refugees, the B40 community, so many different populations. But yeah,
Okay, so if you don't mind, let's probably just sort of kickstart with what made you choose psychology in the first place, especially 15 years ago when you chose the course.
yeah.
I'm sure back then people are like, oh, counselors tak ada orang ramai visit, mental health was not even a thing.
Yeah.
So what got you wanting to choose it?
Okay, this might sound a bit cliche, but my sister studied psychology, and that was my first exposure to psychology.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so she studied
Okay.
psychology, and then I chose psychology as one of my A-level subjects.
Okay.
And learning about all these experiments, human behavior, it was really interesting, and that got me really interested in human behavior first, and then
Okay.
mental health. But I knew from the beginning that I wanted to do something that helps people. So initially I wanted to do medicine, but then the more I delved into the mental health world, then that's when I realized, okay, this is one way for me to help people.
Yeah. And how were your parents like when you first sort of decided to jump into it? Like,
My parents were very supportive,
okay.
but I had grandparents. I mean, my grandparents are amazing, but my granddad especially, was very concerned, and he said, it's not a profession that you'd want to go into because you're dealing with people with mental health issues.
Yeah.
He was concerned that my patients might infect me, or
Oh,
affect me.
I understand. Yeah.
I explained to him, we're in the line of helping people. It's the same
Yeah.
as doctors. You're exposed to so many diseases,
Betul, betul.
it's at the end of the day, your intention is you want to help people with mental health issues.
Were there a lot of classmates back then for you?
I think the interest with psychology was growing already at that time. So there was quite a number of us, but to be very, very honest, from the school that I came from,
yeah,
psychology was not something that was talked about a lot. They wanted us to go into accounting, law,
the usual professions.
the usual
Yeah.
traditional professions. So it was something that I had to explore by myself, really. Yeah, a lot of self-exploration.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting because especially now more than ever, post-pandemic, people are getting more used to the idea of talking about mental health. And I think that was one of the things I've always been curious about. So from your understanding, what caused everyone to be more empathic towards people with mental health? Is it just that it's more available out there, or what was the triggering point, you think?
From my experience and from the clients that I've seen,
Yeah.
now we have more access to information because we have TikTok, Instagram, and all these social media platforms where they feed you with information about mental health. That has always been there. But I think going through the pandemic, people actually experienced what it was like to have a mental health issue.
Yeah.
And they really struggled with it. And I think a lot of people started to seek help. So in a way, the pandemic was a catalyst to help raise mental health awareness.
I think maybe it's also macam the reality of when you're at home, there's no other distractions. You actually have to face the problems you are facing right in front of you. As compared to maybe all this while, this person might have had depression, tapi dia macam, okay, just have
Banyak
to
distractions.
go to office and whatnot. Then suddenly they're at home.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the reality of it lah kan?
Yeah. And because you're actually going through it yourself.
Yeah.
Because with the pandemic, it was a very uncertain time, and with uncertainty comes anxiety, and that's when people actually experience, oh, this is what it's like to have anxiety.
Yeah.
And I think pre-pandemic, not a lot of people could understand what anxiety is like. People would think, oh, you're just overthinking, you're just overreacting.
Makes sense. So, let's just move towards maybe the idea of how all these things that's happening around us.
Yeah.
At this moment, if you happen to hear, there are actually noises in the background because she has a kid herself. This is also Pinky, her kid's favorite toy,
Everyone meet Pinky.
whom we didn't even know how she ended up there, but apparently I think your daughter put it there.
I have no idea who put it there, but yeah, Pinky wanted to make
an appearance. Yeah. So how has motherhood been for you? And talking about mental health, a lot of people always macam, oh, you look for other people's mental health, but how is it going like for you, especially as a mother? You know what I mean?
Yeah. In the beginning, I would say the first 6 months, it was tough because I did not. I mean, I've worked with people who have postpartum depression, and I understand postpartum depression on a theoretical basis. You know, I know what the symptoms are. I know what it looks like. But I don't think I went through. I'm not diagnosing myself with postpartum depression, but going through that first 6 months was tough because it was a huge adjustment, and it was tough. It was a very steep learning curve. I've never done it before, and you just learn on the go. And I think those first 6 months, because the baby is so small and so new, you're very harsh on yourself because you know you don't want to make any mistakes. You want to try and have everything perfectly done, which now I've learned is impossible. That cannot be done. So it's a progress lah. It's a progress.
What would you have said to a year ago you, because your baby's like 1 year 6 months now, okay? What would you have said to a year ago you when you were going through all that?
Oh, I would say be gentle. Be gentle to yourself. As gentle as you are to the baby, be gentle to yourself. Use gentle words and just think just be as gentle as you can to yourself because you're trying your best with whatever knowledge you have at that time.
Yeah.
Being kind to yourself is actually hard. It's more difficult than people. It's easy to say, oh, be kind to yourself. So sometimes I just like to tell people, just be gentle to yourself. It's easier.
Like don't put too high of an expectation at the same time.
Yeah, don't put too high expectations. Sometimes and know that you're doing your best with whatever knowledge, whatever energy you have at that time.
Yeah, and just like, of course, there's two of you.
Yeah.
So how do you think it was like for your partner, and as well as how do you think your partner has supported you throughout? Only the good stuff, because I mean, the other stuff you can always talk about it later. I mean, I'm sure some men out there, they themselves are not sure how to be there for their spouses.
Yeah.
In the end of the day, the only one that can breastfeed the baby is you and all that. So how do you think your partner was there, like able to support you and sort of thing?
Yeah. So my partner, he's amazing. He's very hands-on, but maybe it's because he's here. But what I learned is that yes, you were right. Your partner cannot do the maternal things like breastfeed, semua. That's on the mother to do.
Yeah.
The partner can help by understanding, learning more about breastfeeding, learning more about contohnya like breast pumps. They can learn more about how about bringing up a child. But I think the most important part is support your wife so that your wife can take care of the baby. So do things for your wife. That can be as simple as giving her a massage, refilling her water bottle before she feeds the baby. Or like I remember when Raisa was small, he would like support my back when I would feed her. So support your wife, so that the wife can help the baby. The wife can actually take care of the baby.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that's often overlooked at, but you can see a few reels coming up nowadays, kind, where people are like, oh, goes to the house, but visit the mother instead of just the baby.
Yeah.
And sort of takes care more of the mother more.
Care for the mother so that the mother can have the energy and the mother can care for the baby, because some things other people can't do.
Betul.
Okay. And you can't breastfeed, so you support your wife so that she can breastfeed well.
Technically, the less stress you get, then the more breast milk you sort of get.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah. Was there like any much pressure on you to give breast milk, or how were you like to yourself at that time?
Oh, that's a really good question because I did not have any pressure from anyone around me to breastfeed. There was
Oh,
always
okay.
that. I knew that breastfeeding was, they say fed is best. As long as your baby is fed, that's the best. But, the hospitals will tell you, try to
Oh.
breastfeed. Try your best to breastfeed. So the pressure was not even pressure lah. The only external push was probably from the hospital. So the
Oh.
pressure was mostly internal. So I
Okay.
put a lot of pressure on myself to breastfeed well. And
Mm.
hello. So apa? Yeah, okay, can you sit down? Yeah. Oh, can you
She
go
just
back to
wants to be
Baba?
in.
Yeah.
And she's done.
Alright.
Okay, start the show.
Strawberries. Go. So the pressure was much more from myself. I wanted to breastfeed. I even remember thinking to myself in those early days, if monkeys can do it, why can't you?
Oh my god, that's a lot of pressure to
A
put,
lot of
right?
pressure.
Yeah.
Then I even hired like lactation consultants who would come in to teach and stuff, and that really helped. But at the end of the day, what I realized was she's breastfeeding for her first time. She doesn't know what to do. You're also breastfeeding for the very first time. You don't know. You've never done it before. No matter how many books you read, apa ke, it's your first time doing it. So be gentle on yourself. Take it slow, and you don't have to do it if it doesn't work for you.
So I think maybe one of the things I've always been curious about is maybe the bigger picture is also, is there a way where you can tell mothers to not have the pressure of breastfeeding? Because I mean everyone's trying to get info on ChatGPT, but how did you be gentle to yourself within time? Like, because you said like, if a monkey can do it, you can do it. But how did you macam finally get into the whole, it's okay, let me try?
In those early days, it was
Yeah.
very dark. It was very dark in those early days. I think if I had people around me to help tell me that, it's fine, it's okay. Although I didn't have people pressuring me to breastfeed, I didn't have people around me who said, it's okay. You don't have to push this if you can.
Paham.
So I was like figuring it out by myself. And when you're figuring things out by yourself for the first time, and if you're in a very dark place, things can get very
Very dark.
very dark. You can get very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're very harsh on yourself, lah kan?
Yeah.
So I think it would have helped if I had people around me who tell me, it's okay.
Paham.
Do it slowly, tak apa.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, that breastfeeding is beautiful. It's a beautiful bond, but there's also other ways for you to bond with your baby, not necessarily just through breastfeeding. And there are so many other methods of feeding your child. That there are mothers who exclusively pump, EP moms.
EP?
Yeah, it's called EP, exclusively pump, which means that they pump their milk, they express, and they feed the baby through a bottle. So you don't have to. There are so many other methods that we can explore. I pun baru, I just discovered it when I just started my breastfeeding journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving to the fact that, I'm guessing how many months you took maternity leave? 6 months?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
So you took 6 months maternity leave. Before that, you were working corporate.
Yes.
Okay, so you were in corporate, and then I think I remember we had this brief conversation where you were questioning whether you should do business full time or stay at home full time.
Yeah.
So what were your train of thoughts, to be honest, before you had Raisa, and then when Raisa came to the picture, the first 6 months, and then after the 1 year, maybe when you feel like she stabilized, how was the whole journey of figuring out your career versus or integrating hers as well into the picture? Yeah.
Oh, it's been a ride. It's been a roller coaster ride. Because before becoming a mom, I have always been someone who was career driven. I've always seen myself as someone who performs well at work, and not really climbing the corporate ladder, but more to macam career focused. then I got pregnant. And I remember telling everyone that, oh, I'm not going to stop working. I'm going to continue. Things are going to just resume as normal. And then after my maternity leave was up, I think I had like I was trying to find myself again. I was expecting to bounce back to pre-motherhood me, which is not realistic. It's not a realistic expectation because you're never gonna become that version of you ever again. So this new version of me has a different set of priorities. I want more time with her. I want to see her grow. I want to make sure that she grows well. And that's why a more flexible option works for us. It might not work for everyone, but that more flexible arrangement is the best because I get to see her grow. I get to be involved in her growth, and at the same time, I get to work in something that I'm passionate about, which is working with people with mental health issues. Yeah.
So maybe like if it's anything, I think a lot of women maybe they feel the pressure. Okay, the baby is 3 months now. I have to go back to work. The baby is 6 months now. So in your experience or like how it was like for you, macam what made you choose after 1 year and a half? Versus maybe you doing it when she was 6 months, that sort of thing.
Okay. I think something very important to mention is I have a supportive partner. I have a very supportive network, a very supportive village, So I was in the position, or I am then in the position to choose whether to continue or not. There are mothers out there who send, they have no other choice and they have to go back to work and they have to send their babies to daycare at 2 months old, for example. So that's very important to mention. I have the privilege to choose, which I'm very grateful for. But what made me decide to do this when it wasn't really much okay, she's 1 year and a half now, I'm gonna do it. It wasn't really that kind of
because I thought it was that. Like,
okay,
macam, because some people, they decide, I mean, there are people with privilege and whatnot, right? So some of them, they decide that once the kid starts walking on their 2 feet, that's when I know they're fit enough to go to,
okay.
And there's some yang macam once they can start talking, so if I send them to daycare, at least if they need anything or if anything happens in the daycare, then they can communicate to me when they come home. So I thought that was it for you.
I think that's a very logical way of thinking. And I think that might be the case for most mothers out there. But for me, it was more of figuring things out as you go. And I got the opportunity to work in a corporate setting. And I was eyeing that role for quite a long time. So I gave it a try. This is an opportunity that I can't just let go of. I need to give it a try. And I gave it a try and it didn't work out for me. So I guess it coincides with her being 1 year and a half and she's more independent. So that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to leave corporate and I'm going to be at home and, have more time with her and play with her more. It wasn't really macam, okay, she can walk and talk now. I can go back to work. It's not like that. It was more of figuring things out, which I think a lot of moms are like that juga. You just figure things out as you go.
I'm sure. Tapi itulah macam, I guess in other words, the other question would be if Raisa was not in the picture, you would have definitely just, thought about your career and everything else.
Definitely, 100%. I think I would have probably stayed in corporate. Or I would probably focus more on career lah.
And this is when people say you don't know how it feels like to be a mother until you have a mother, until you become a mother.
100%.
And then next thing you know, everything that I said in my life is just on this creature that you know. I
mean, it might not be for everyone. Maybe some people, their priorities don't shift as much, but I had that huge shift in priorities. To be very honest, it was also like a change in my identity. From being Shazrina, the clinical psychologist, I'm now a mom to a toddler, and I'm also Shazrina, the clinical psychologist. So how do I find a way to merge these two? So that
how's
works?
that been working out for you?
I'm figuring out. I'm still figuring it out. But so far, I think we are stabilizing.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so like maybe tell me more about, because I've never really asked you about your work, and every time we see each other, it's always just like, catching up with everything.
Yeah.
But tell me more about your macam vision with your whole practice.
Yeah.
And to be honest, let's just like sort of wrap it up with a bit of what would you say or do comfort with mothers out there. Because number one, I mean, you're a mother yourself, but adding to that, you're also a clinical psychologist. So I'm thinking that you're not going to just step into the emotional part, but maybe into some
More
practical solutions. Might not be effective for everyone, but I'm sure there are people out there who wishes that mothers who are clinical psychologists, can you just share me how it's like? That sort of thing. So
yeah, okay. So with the practice, it's a very small scale practice, and the whole approach of my practice is to encourage for people to be more gentle on themselves. Okay, more self-compassionate. I encourage all, you don't have to wait until your problems become severe for you to seek help. You can actually come when you're feeling just fine, stable. Actually, that's the best time to come for therapy.
When you're stable.
When you're stable, when you know that you've had a few episodes before, you know you're struggling with mental health, but the best time to come is when you're stable. Don't come to troubleshoot. Macam when things are really, most people will come when it's severe.
Yeah.
But at that point, you can't really work on a lot of things because you're so caught up with whatever's going on at that time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's coffee.
But then actually I've never really understood the differences between mental health, mental wellness, and mental illness. Or I don't know, there's so many macam mental terms.
Okay, so how we view it, is it's a spectrum. Okay, so no one is completely mentally, or you're never on one end of the spectrum all the time. We actually move within the spectrum. So there might be moments in your life where you are, like in the middle, or more on the side of mentally ill. So that's on the other side of the spectrum, right? Or we call it the disordered level. Disordered level means that you have
mental disorder is another one.
So disorder, when you're at a disordered level, you have difficulty functioning on a day-to-day basis. It affects your daily functioning. Okay, but how we see it is it's a spectrum. Mental health, and mental the disordered part, the disordered end. We move within the spectrum. So the best time to come is actually when you're on this end of the spectrum, where you're mentally healthy because you're more stable and you are more able to receive information and work on yourself. And that's when you can do more self-reflection, and you're more insightful, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I never really understood the different different terms but yeah, definitely an interesting insight, I think for me, macam as a business owner, in my early 20s, I've always felt like, I'm unstoppable. I don't know lah, maybe this is frontal lobe issue ke apa kot. And then in my 30s, for the first time, I think a few weeks ago, I've never had this before, but for the first time at night, I bangun, I salat tahajud. And I mean, as a Muslim, to a certain extent, you always go back to leaving it all to your creator. So what happened after that was, I couldn't really sleep back, but it was not like I tak boleh tidur. It was more macam everything felt so heavy. Maybe in my prayers, I was just praying like I was in deep, right? And I just felt like the weight of the whole world was on my shoulders. I think, to be honest, at one point, I even messaged some influencers. I was asking for help because I just felt like it was so unstoppable. I just couldn't do anything anymore. Yeah. And at that time, I think a part of me was like, is there something really wrong with me now? As compared to how I was to do? Or is it because things are bigger now as a business? Or maybe because I'm an adult now. So macam, I think
felt that weight, or that burden on your shoulders.
Yeah.
I think you were thinking like things, everything's on you.
Yeah. So I don't know what was that, but I guess that's why, like you mentioned, it's always better to go when you're better, because when you're feeling at your worst, when you go to someone, you expect them to solve it for you, but the reality is that person can only, what's the role like
a
for
lot
you?
of people come into therapy and they they share their problems, but they expect the therapist to solve their problems. But that's not what we do in therapy. We actually, so I like to tell my clients that coming into therapy, imagine yourself, you're carrying a backpack, and in that bag, it's a very heavy backpack, and you don't know what's inside. You're quite embarrassed about the things that are inside that bag.
Yeah.
But what we do in therapy is that we unpack the bag, put everything on the table, we sort it out, we throw some stuff out, we prioritize certain things. So that's what we do in therapy. But therapists won't tell you what to do. The therapist will guide you and get you to think about, okay, if you were to choose decision A, what would be the outcome? If you were to choose decision B, what would be the outcome? And among those two decisions, which one's the best for you? Which one do you think is the best for you? We won't tell you, okay, you need to do this. You need to, you need to tell this person, blah, 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 blah. That's not really how therapy works.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Takkanlah macam,
So,
I'm going through financial debt. Can you help solve it for me?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So it takes a
yeah.
lot of mental effort and mental energy, and that's exactly why it's best to come when you're stable.
Oh yeah, ada orang pun macam kata, I kadang-kadang malas nak pergi klinik, pergi counselling or psychologist when I'm having so much trouble.
Yeah,
Sebab in the end nangis-nangis penat, bukan dia boleh solve pun.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
I've
people
heard
find it
those
very
before.
exhausting actually,
Yeah.
coming for therapy, which I totally understand.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, let's wrap it up with the, you being a mom, being a clinical psychologist, and how would you sort of like see yourself supporting other women out there who are mothers too? Because super bonus is that you came as together, right? And I'm assuming you can't. This is when people say you can be a clinical psychologist, you can help others, but to a certain extent, you can't really help yourself.
Yeah.
So what would you sort of say to as like a support system, or what would you say to those mothers out there?
Okay. I think as a clinical psychologist and a mom, it's so easy to say, be gentle on yourself. But it's also realizing that you can't do everything. That was something that I had to realize. It took me a while to realize that I can't do everything. I can't be at the top of my game at work, at home, because you'll get burnt out easily. So you have to realize that you can't have everything. You can't do everything 100%. And that's why we should learn to reach out to other people, to your support system, if you do have a support system, and get that support. It's completely fine to ask for help.
Okay.
Yeah, it's completely fine to outsource as well.
That's true. I think, okay lah, one of the most, I just have one question left for me. One of the most taboo things I think I've always been curious about is, how some mothers, they tend to macam put their dreams on hold for their kid. What's your take on it? Like, how do you think as a parent for you to sort of macam be more gentle with your dreams, because your dreams have now shifted to, it's like when you mentioned you can't do everything, but at the same time macam you sort of chose this life, right, for with the little one and all that.
Putting dreams on hold. So the dream is always the end goal, right? You want to reach there. But what you need to realize, it's like life is like being on a train, and we have different stops. Sometimes you're at a big stop, sometimes you're at a small station, sometimes you have to go this way first to get there. So it's completely fine to take your time to reach that goal or that dream that you have.
And sometimes it just changes, kan?
Sometimes it just changes, and that's completely fine.
And it's not on the kid pun. It's just as you grow, your priorities change.
Yeah, your priorities change, and
your view on life
you
also
might not
change.
even want that same dream anymore.
Yeah.
So it's completely fine for you to take your time to reach your goal, the end goal or the dream. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for me. Have you got anything else you sort of want to pitch in? That, you know, macam within time after us conversing for about 30 minutes, is there anything that you macam sort of like, actually that was one thing I wanted to say, but
right now, all I can think of is I think mothers should support mothers. Women should support mothers.
yeah.
And there's no one way to become a mother. You know, there's no one right way or one correct way. There's so many ways to become to be a good mother. And as long as you're trying your best, that's it. That's good. That's good enough.
Itulah. It's such a journey that you guys signed up for.
It is.
But yeah, thank you so much,
Thank
Shaz,
you so much, Eniza.
for your time, and of course your little one for entertaining us.
Yes.
And
little
that's
entertainer.
pretty much it from us. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Can you say bye-bye? Bye to the camera.